Hello and welcome to yet another episode of What to Pick. In this video series I go over a few different starting hands and explain what I would pick and why. And in today's first starting hand we face a decision between Helion and Valley Trust. Helion is okay, it's a good corp, and Valley Trust as well, but I think Valley Trust is really fun just because you draw an extra prelude and this is really fun. You can draw some amazing combos with that. So let's go with that for now. Okay, we have two really good preludes for Helion. So Morehole Excavation normally I don't like that much, but for Helion of course it's pretty good. And Polar Industries is a good prelude all around. And together you get 4 heat prod for Helion, which means you have 7 and you also have 2 heat immediately. So Gen 2 you can already convert 8 heat to a temperature bump. So for now it looks like Helion, but let's look at the starting hand first. Maybe we see a lot of science tags, we don't. So I think there's not really a reason to pick Valley Trust here if we have such a great Helion start. I'd go with Polar Industries and Morehole Excavation. We are playing on Elysium, which means we probably will pick up plants with Polar Industries because there's not much else going on this map. You don't have a 2 mineral spot on ocean fields and you don't have a 2 card spot. So I'd probably pick one of these 2 oceans and place my ocean there, Polar Industries. Let's see if we get some other plans as well. We have Space Elevator with which we can sell the steel we get from Morehole and this, what's it called? Morehole Excavation, yeah. So that's quite nice. And then we have a combination of ECF and regular eaters. This is really expensive to get down. But you can do it in the first gen because you can delay Space Elevator 1 gen because we don't have any steel to sell in the first gen. That means we can play the second gen when we actually have the steel to sell that, and I think that's fine. What else do we have here? We could gamble on Greatest Carbon Consortium, but normally that's not a card I'd like to gamble on. It's very well possible that your opponents won't play any steel prod. So I probably wouldn't do that. What we can actually do is pick up Heather and Grass because we have a lot of heat prod as Helion, and then these get unlocked sooner. Of course, because we play ECF plus Regolith, the oxygen will raise up crazy fast, which of course again will decrease the value of Heather and Grass. What we actually like to see here is the ocean we see here. Again, it gets unlocked quite fast because we have so much heat. And with regular eaters and the heat prod we have, we are actually set up for quite a fast game. And then getting some oceans as well is quite nice. The rest of the hand is not that interesting. You could think about energy tapping because it's the only source of power you have here. I don't think GHG producing bacteria is that nice. You could pick it up. Because maybe you will run out of oxygen bumps before the temperature is maxed out, and then you have a pivot for extreme cold fungus and take the last few heat steps. But the problem is if we pick up all of this, we only have 18 cash left, and we need 26 to play all the cards we want to play, meaning extreme cold fungus and regular. That means I wouldn't pick up GHG producing bacteria. Or maybe we skip Grass and Heather. In this case, we have 24 cash left, which is still not enough. Do I favor the pivot to GHG producing bacteria more than energy tapping? That's the question. I think the bare minimum we pick up here is these 4 cards. Extreme Cold Fungus plus Regolith works really well together. Permafrost is nice, and Space Elevator is really nice. And then the question is, do we want GHG producing bacteria or energy tapping? Because as it stands right now, we have 30 cash left. And we need 26, so we can only pick up 1 more. In that case, I would probably pick up GHG producing bacteria because as a source of power, energy tapping is still quite unreliable. Because if your opponents don't leave any power prod unguarded, then you can't use it, and maybe you really need power, and then you just are really mad about yourself because you picked up energy tapping and not some different source of power. So yeah, I think this would be the starting hand I would pick up here. You could, I mean, there's not really a reason to pick up Valley Trust. As Valley Trust, I will probably pick up these two preludes. And I would still go for this combo. It's a bit cheaper for Valley Trust because regular Thetis is a science tag. But you are left with so little cash. I don't think that's great. I would still pick up this. And then you would need to gamble on your preludes to give you some immediate starting capital. So I think this is the best route to go here with exactly these cards. So yeah, that's the first starting hand. Let's get to the next one. Okay, time for the second hand. It's a decision between Thorgate and Tharsis, and I've already picked Tharsis here because Thorgate, in my opinion, is one of the weakest corps in the game. And we are playing this on the Tharsis base game map. And Tharsis Republic is one of the best corps on this. Not one of the best, but it's the best map for that corp because of the milestones Mayor, Builder, and Gardener. On every one of those, Tharsis is quite good. Let's get to the preludes. So Biofuels normally is not such a great prelude, but for Tharsis it's okay because you like to get some plant prod and you want to play some cities in the early to mid game. And the city cards that you can play on Mars actually all need power, except for Research Outpost. So Biofuels is quite nice. Eccentric Sponsor relies on your starting hand. Do we have a card that we want to play with it? Orbital Construction Yard is always good. It's just a solid prelude that gives you some income and some starting capital. But I like Mohole here because we are most likely going for ground game as Tharsis if our hand supports it. And then having some heat prod for that is also quite nice. Ooh, Electro Catapult. Electro Catapult works really well together with Biofuels because you can play it first gen with the power prod you get from it, and you can immediately start selling plants. Selling plants is not as good as selling steel, but still quite nice. So definitely that's a keep. Indentured Workers is always a keep in the starting hand. It just gives you so much tempo. There would be more heat prod here, but the card is kind of underwhelming. Well, I take that back. We have Earth Office. As with Earth Office, it's actually quite nice. Combos really well together with Mohole. Then we have 5 heat prod and also 3 heat prod from the start. So second gen, we already get a heat bump. Now, I think I also saw IO Mining there, but let's talk about that before we pick up Eccentric Sponsor here. So these 3 for sure. IO Mining. It's a prime target for Eccentric Sponsor for sure. But we are going for Tharsis, most likely a ground game. We have no other Jovians on hand, no other Jovian multipliers in hand, and no card draw on hand. So I think we skip on IO Mining Industries, and we rather develop Electrocat and more heat prod here. Earth Office for sure to support the import of advanced GHG, and just because it's an amazing card, it basically just transforms you into Teractor as well as being Tharsis, which is crazy. Noctis, of course, pick up as Tharsis. You most likely won't play that in the super early game because you would rather gamble on someone placing greeneries around it, which can be nice. But if we get the chance to do it and it could be our way towards Mayor, then we would actually play that. And Sabo is also quite nice because you can destroy someone's early game with it. And if you're in a tight race for a milestone, that can really help you out. And then the last decision here, Micromills Trash and Mining Expedition. I don't like that card as much anymore. It can be useful in the fight over the extra temperature bump on the oxygen track, but I just think it's a bit underwhelming. Last decision here is tardigrades. If you play that Gen 1 or 2, it can be 2, it most likely will be 2 points. On the Tharsis map, it's not as good as on the expansion maps, because on Hellas you have Eccentric, I believe, the award which the player wins with the most resources on cards, and tardigrades is really, really good for that. And on Elysium, you have not biologists. What's it called? Ecologists. Yeah. And it's a really cheap tech towards that milestone. So you could play it on this map, but let me calculate first whether we want to do that here. We will have 22 cash left over, then we place our free city and we have 25 cash. We play indentured Electrocat, so that's 9 cash, so we have 16 left. Then we sell a plant, we have 23 left. Yeah. Then we play Earth Office into Port of Advanced GHG, which is 7 in total. So yeah, we should have enough to play Tardigrade's first gen as well. In a 3-player game, I think it's quite important to get it down first gen, because it could very well be that the game ends in Gen 8 in a 2-player game. And if it ends in Gen 8, then you miss out on a point if you play it in Gen 2. So I think we want to play it in Gen 1. And then we wait on Noctis City, we wait on the Sabotage to find a good opportunity to play it. And basically everything else we play here. So we would like to get some good cards in the next draft, but the other ones I don't think we pick up here. So yeah, I don't see a reason to pick Thorgate here. There are no power tags. It's completely useless here, I think. I would much rather go with Tharsis. So let's get to our last hand, the third hand. All right, last hand is a decision between Robinson Industries and Teractor. Both are quite good, I think. Robinson Industries grew on me. Getting that cheap production in the early game can be actually quite nice if you can rack up some titanium and steel prod with it and play power-hungry cards. But Teractor is a really good corp, in my opinion. You have huge amount of starting capital and earth hacks are really, really good. So let's go with Teractor for now. Strong preludes, really strong preludes. We're playing on Hellas, by the way. Allied Bank, one of the best preludes in the game, in my opinion. Just economically really, really good for you. But the other ones are also quite strong, every one of them. Ace A is nice. You draw more cards, and space tags also tend to be quite good. Metal Rich Asteroid, more starting capital, which we actually probably don't need as Teractor. The same goes for acquired space agency. So I'm inclined to pick up Polar Industries here. Oh, nice. We have restricted area, which is card draw, and mining area. That's actually huge on Hellas, because that means we are on a really, really good way towards. You can't do that anymore. I hate that I patched that out. We're on a really good way towards Polar Explorer, one of the milestones on this map, for which you need 3 tiles in the bottom 2 rows. And we could place restricted area on this tile and then mining area on the titanium tile. Or it would be better the other way around, because you place restricted area here, and if someone plays a tile, then here you can play mining area here. But you want to, what's it called? Combo these together, so you do it in one go. Restricted area here and then mining area here, and you draw the card from restricted the turn afterwards. But that would be the correct positioning. And then we have 2 out of the 3 tiles for the milestone already. Rest of the hand doesn't look too spicy, I have to admit. So I'm maybe inclined to pick up the card draw from acquired space agency, as well as Polar Industries, and then pick up the card from Polar Industries as well on the spot. We don't have any steel prod, so Open City probably isn't worth it. Sabo is nice in the opener. Worms isn't worth it because we have no microbe tags. We could think about Interstellar Colony Ship, because we will have titanium prod and card draw and 1 science tag already. So we can pick that up. It's also, we are Teractor, so it's 1 cheaper. So yeah, it's actually quite a good pickup. But it's also spec, because we don't know if we will draw the 5 science tags. You can be really unlucky and just don't draw them. We have some heat prod, so bushes is okay. As I said, these 2 of course. Power infrastructure is useless. Zeppelins is a gamble, and it's normally only used to secure banker, and there's no banker on this map. And without any steel prod, I don't really see a reason to pick up SF Memorial. We rather use our money to draw from restricted area and from the next draft and get our cards that way. And I think that's what I want to go with here. In actuality, there probably isn't a reason to pick Teractor here. You can also pick up, I mean, you only have that ICS on hand. Teractor makes that cheaper, but I think Robinson Industries might actually be better here. You go as Robinson probably with the same preludes because you still have quite a lot of starting capital for what you want to do here. You pick up Sabo, ICS bushes, restricted mining area, and then you start the game off by using your action on your titanium prod, and then afterwards doing restricted plus mining area. And you could also in that case pick up SF Memorial because next gen you can use your ability on your steel prod, and then you have steel prod to play SF Memorial. Is that enough for me to pick up Open City? I don't think so. It's too far off, and we will only have one steel prod most likely. I think it's a close decision here between Robinson and Teractor. But as Robinson, we can easily get down, really cheaply get down 2 titanium prod and then steel prod on the next go. And afterwards, we can also do useful stuff with it, like getting plant prod, not more heat prod because we have 2. You can also, instead of Polar Industries, go for these 2, because as Robinson, it's quite nice to have money prod, because then you don't need to use your ability on money prod, which is the money prod is the cheapest one to get with cards. So probably like that. And then bushes is not as great, but bushes is still a solid card. And I think, isn't that the map with Generalist? I think it's the map with Generalist. Or is that Elysium? Damn, I need to look that up. It really annoys me that they patched that out, that you can't look at the milestones anymore in the draft phase. I don't really see a reason behind that, other than fuck with the players. Where is it? I can't find the map right now. This is annoying. Let me look up the map on Google. I should know that. I really should know that. If Generalist is on this map or the other one. No, Generalist is on Elysium. Yeah, I thought so. Specialist and Generalist are together on Elysium. This map is Diversifier. That's a shame. Robinson Industries is really good for Generalist. So Elysium would be perfect here. But yeah, you're still on a good way towards Polar Explorer. Maybe you can get a greenery down or somewhat something to get the 3rd tile in the south. So yeah, I think I would actually go with Robinson here. But yeah, that was the last hand. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you knew already that Generalist is a milestone in Elysium and not Hellas. And definitely let me know in the comments whether you would have decided differently in these situations. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.